Now, collected from the residence, from this search warrant, there were 2 green in color cell phones, 2 bottles of medication, 1 bottle of over-the-counter Tylenol.
Gene Hackman, the Hollywood legend who captivated the world with his iconic roles in The French Connection, Superman, and Unforgiven, has passed away at the age of 94 at his private estate in Santa Fe. His death seemed ordinary at first, but when local police arrived at the scene, they discovered anomalies too strange to ignore. Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found under suspicious circumstances. There were no signs of struggle, no fatal wounds, yet the evidence at the scene did not align with a natural death. What really happened in their final hours? Before the Santa Fe police could reach a conclusion, the FBI unexpectedly intervened, steering the investigation in a completely different direction. Federal agents seized several documents from Hackman's estate, and according to an anonymous source, what they found could be linked to forces Hollywood would rather keep buried. But the most shocking revelation was not what the FBI found. It was what happened afterward. GPS data revealed that Hackman's phone left the estate after his death. Security cameras captured a black, unmarked truck arriving at the scene at precisely the right moment. Who was in possession of Hackman's phone, and what were they looking for? If this was just a natural death, why did the FBI get involved? If Hackman had seen something he was never supposed to see, what could it have been? Gene Hackman's death may just be the beginning of a mystery no one has the answers to. And what happens next could be far more terrifying. The final days of Hackman. Gene Hackman had been away from Hollywood for more than 2 decades, choosing a quiet life in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In his final years, he lived with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, in a secluded estate, far removed from the entertainment industry. He no longer appeared in the media, attended no events, and instead spent his days enjoying a peaceful life with his lifelong companion. According to some neighbors, his last days seemed to follow the usual routine. Every morning, Hackman would wake up early, prepare a cup of tea, and sit in the large sunroom overlooking his garden. He used to cycle along the quiet roads of Santa Fe every morning, but in the past few weeks he had been going out less frequently. He was only occasionally seen stepping out to collect the newspaper or check the mailbox. A neighbor who lived close to Hackman's estate recalled that in mid-February, she still saw him driving out, but he seemed weaker than before. He no longer stopped by his favorite coffee shop as he usually did, which made her wonder if his health was declining. An employee at a convenience store in Santa Fe also mentioned seeing Hackman a few days before his passing. He looked thinner but remained alert and friendly. One odd detail noticed by a local mail carrier was that Hackman's mailbox had gone unchecked for several days, which was unusual for him. Hackman had always been in the habit of collecting his mail daily, but by mid-February, letters began piling up, raising concerns about whether he was all right. A gardener also observed that the estate's doors remained shut for several days, and although the lights inside were still on at night, neither Hackman nor Betsy had been seen outside. Despite these observations, no one suspected anything out of the ordinary. Hackman was 94 years old, and perhaps he simply wanted to spend his final days resting at home. But just a few days later, police arrived at his Santa Fe estate and discovered both Hackman and Betsy had passed away under mysterious circumstances. What really happened in Gene Hackman's final days? Did he have a premonition before his passing? Or was it simply the quiet end of a Hollywood legend, closing the final chapter of a life that spanned nearly a century? Did someone return to the estate after Hackman's death? Gene Hackman's estate in Santa Fe should have been a place of silence after his and his wife Betsy Arakawa's passing. But one disturbing discovery changed the entire course of the investigation. GPS data revealed that Hackman's phone left the estate twice, on February 18th and 20th, despite the fact that he had already passed away. Both times, the device followed the exact same route to a small gas station in the town of Loretto, over 100 miles from Santa Fe, stopping briefly before disappearing from the tracking system. But what caught the FBI's particular attention was the presence of an unmarked black truck at those exact times. Traffic cameras near Hackman's estate captured images of the vehicle, but there was no visible license plate, no recorded entry or exit data, despite the area being under strict security control. When the FBI cross-checked with surveillance systems along major roads, they found no registered vehicle matching its description. It was as if the truck didn't exist on paper, but someone was driving it, and they didn't want to be seen. The anomalies didn't stop there. When the FBI inspected the estate, they discovered that Hackman's security camera system had been disabled for precisely 48 hours, from February 17th to 19th, before automatically reactivating. However, there were no signs of forced entry, nor any foreign fingerprints on the control panel. Someone had deliberately shut down the system, but what were they trying to hide? Even more alarming, during the estate search, investigators found a titanium iPhone 15 Pro Max hidden beneath the cushions of a sofa. It didn't belong to Hackman or Betsy. It was an unregistered device with no known owner. When the FBI retrieved data from its SIM card, they uncovered a chilling detail. In the 3 weeks leading up to Hackman's death, the phone had received 3 calls from an anonymous number. Each time, there was only one cryptic message: "Are you ready?" But the most disturbing part? Immediately after Hackman's death, the phone was remotely wiped, erasing any trace of the sender's identity or the phone's original owner. The deeper the FBI dug, the more unsettling the realization became. Someone had returned to the estate after Hackman's death, not to mourn, but to search for something. Or perhaps to ensure that nothing had been left behind. The real question is, did they find what they were looking for? And if not, is this mystery truly over? What did Hackman see before he died? One of the most crucial pieces of evidence that prevented the FBI from classifying this as a natural death was the data from Gene Hackman's pacemaker. Due to his history of heart disease, Hackman used a real-time heart rate monitoring device, and when the FBI extracted the data, they uncovered something chilling. At exactly 7 p.m. on February 16th, Hackman's heart rate suddenly spiked, rising from a stable level for an elderly man to an abnormally high rate, as if he were in a state of extreme panic. This condition persisted for 4 hours before his heart rate abruptly stopped at 2:43 a.m. on February 17th. This was not the typical pattern of a heart attack. Normally, individuals with heart conditions experience irregular rhythms before entering a critical state. But Hackman's heart had been operating at maximum stress for 4 straight hours, as though he had been in an unrelenting state of sheer terror. What made this even more disturbing was that when the FBI reviewed Hackman's home security footage, there were no signs of unusual movement. The police examined all the surveillance devices, but the footage showed nothing but an eerie stillness. No intruders, no signs of struggle, no forced entry. So what did this mean? Hackman had endured 4 hours of extreme distress before his death. But if no one had broken in, what had terrified him to such an extent? The mystery deepened when investigators discovered that Betsy Arakawa was not in the bedroom at the time. When her body was found, she was lying on the bathroom floor, collapsed on the cold tiles, completely separate from Hackman. If both had died on the same night, why were they not together? And more importantly, why was Betsy's body positioned as if she had been crawling out of the bathroom, while Hackman was found on the living room floor, his face twisted in horror, as if he had witnessed something beyond comprehension? These details pointed to a chilling possibility. Gene Hackman saw something that night, something he could neither understand nor control, and it killed him before anyone could intervene. But what was it? And did Betsy see it too, only to realize too late that she couldn't escape? Or had she been incapacitated before the true event unfolded? The answer might lie in Betsy Arakawa's autopsy report. But what the FBI was about to discover would make everything far more terrifying. The mystery of Betsy Arakawa's death. If Gene Hackman's death left many unanswered questions, what the FBI discovered during Betsy Arakawa's autopsy made the case even more perplexing. Initially, police suspected that she had died from natural causes, possibly due to psychological shock or a sudden stroke. However, forensic examination revealed a much more unsettling truth. Traces of a sedative were found in Betsy's stomach, a drug that was not listed in any of her prescribed medications. Even more disturbingly, this was no ordinary sedative. Chemical analysis indicated that its composition closely resembled compounds known to induce temporary memory loss or impaired consciousness, substances often associated with abductions or neurological manipulation. What did this mean? Did Betsy take the drug voluntarily, or was she forced to ingest it? When the FBI examined Betsy's medication bottles, they found discrepancies in the number of pills remaining. Her medical records indicated she had only been prescribed a mild anti-anxiety medication, yet a significant number of pills were missing beyond what would be considered normal. If Betsy hadn't increased her dosage herself, then who had administered the additional drugs? The mystery deepened when investigators analyzed the scene where Betsy's body was found. While her posture suggested she had been crawling toward the door, there were no signs of struggle, no bruises, no defensive wounds indicating resistance. One particularly strange detail stood out. The bathroom heater had been running continuously when police discovered her body, raising the room's temperature to an unusually high level. As a result, instead of normal decomposition, Betsy's body exhibited signs of a natural mummification effect, making it significantly harder to determine the exact time of death. What really happened to Betsy? Did she accidentally take the wrong medication, or did someone deliberately put her into an unconscious state before the events unfolded? And if Betsy had already been incapacitated before Hackman's distress began, did he witness something so terrifying that his heart was pushed to its limits for 4 straight hours? The answers may lie within Gene Hackman's secret safe, where the FBI uncovered documents so sensitive they could not be immediately disclosed to the public. What secrets are being hidden? After examining the crime scene and gathering evidence related to the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, the FBI shifted their investigation to Hackman's study, where they discovered an old safe concealed behind a wooden bookshelf. This became one of the most critical findings of the case, as the safe showed no signs of recent use. Yet inside, it contained documents that could completely change the direction of the investigation. Inside the safe, the FBI found several aged, yellowed documents, a personal journal, and most notably, a USB drive labeled Nightmare Files. But what drew the most attention was the list of names appearing in these documents. Not just figures from the film industry, but also politicians and powerful business elites. Some documents were still marked top secret, eyes only, suggesting that they weren't just ordinary records, but highly sensitive information related to matters never made public. Hackman's personal journal also held shocking revelations. In the final months of his life, his handwriting had changed drastically. It became more unsteady, almost as if he had been struggling to write something of great importance. One of the most disturbing lines, repeated multiple times, read, "They are watching me. I know they don't want me to speak." It's unclear who Hackman was referring to, but this was enough for the FBI to raise serious questions. Why would a man who had left Hollywood long ago feel like he was being watched? What did he know that made him so afraid? And could this have anything to do with his and Betsy's deaths? The USB drive found in the safe was immediately taken in for forensic analysis. No one outside the investigative team knew exactly what was on it, but an anonymous source close to the case revealed that its contents left even the most seasoned agents in stunned silence. Yet there was another strange detail. The safe showed no signs of being tampered with after Hackman's death. What did this mean? Did someone know about the safe's existence but fail to access it, or were they never interested in its contents in the first place? If so, What exactly were they searching for inside Hackman's estate? While the FBI has yet to officially disclose any details about the recovered documents, one thing is clear. Hackman possessed something that did not belong to him, or at the very least, something that was never meant to be exposed. And it seems that whoever was behind these secrets had made certain that they would never come to light. Although Gene Hackman's death remains shrouded in mystery, one thing cannot be denied. His life and career left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. Before the questions surrounding his passing arose, he was already a legend, a true icon whose contributions to the seventh art will never be forgotten. Legacy and impact. Gene Hackman was not just an actor. He was a Hollywood icon, a legend whose career spanned more than 6 decades, leaving an indelible mark on the world of cinema. He won 2 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, a BAFTA, and a SAG Award, cementing his place as one of the greatest actors of his time. But beyond these prestigious accolades, Hackman was remembered for his unparalleled ability to fully inhabit his roles, bringing complex characters to life, from hardened law enforcers to deeply layered villains. Films such as The French Connection, 1971, Unforgiven, 1992, Mississippi Burning, 1988, and The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001, were not only commercial successes but also highly influential in the art of acting. Hackman was one of the rare actors who could make audiences truly believe in his characters, a rare quality in an era where many movie stars were defined by their image rather than their talent. After retiring from Hollywood in 2004, Hackman continued to make an impact through his literary work. He authored 4 novels, primarily centered on historical and war-related themes, showcasing his intellectual depth and creative mind as a true artist. Though he stepped away from the limelight, he remained a highly respected figure in the industry, an inspiration to future generations of actors for his dedication, talent, and perseverance. In his final years, Hackman chose a reclusive life, distancing himself from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. He granted no interviews, made no red carpet appearances, and declined all offers to return to the screen. Yet, this did not mean he was forgotten. His films continued to be celebrated by audiences and critics alike, and his acting style remained a benchmark for generations to come. Now that he is gone, Gene Hackman's legacy is not only preserved in his films, but also in the lessons of professionalism, dedication, and transformative artistry that he left behind. He was not just a legendary actor, he was a truly admirable individual, a man who devoted his life to telling unforgettable stories on screen. But will his legacy remain untouched by the dark mysteries surrounding his death? And will Gene Hackman always be remembered as a cinematic icon, or will secrets yet to be uncovered pull his name into a story that even Hollywood would rather keep buried? Gene Hackman is gone, but his death is not the end. What was left behind in the Santa Fe estate, classified documents, strange traces, and gaps in the security footage, has raised more questions than answers. Gene Hackman's entire life was a masterful performance, but his final act had no script, no stage lights, only the darkness of hidden secrets. One thing is certain: he did not die in peace. The story of Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths is not just the tragic passing of 2 elderly individuals. It feels more like an unfinished play, where the main characters were erased before they could reveal the truth. Clues have been buried, secrets suppressed, yet one question still lingers. What did Gene Hackman really see? And is anyone willing to bring the truth to light? As the doors of the estate closed behind the FBI agents, another door opened. A door to speculation, to untold narratives, to a Hollywood that the public has never truly understood. We may never uncover the full truth, but one thing is undeniable. Hackman took Hollywood's secrets with him to the very end. And perhaps, somewhere out there, someone is making sure they are never revealed. What do you think about the mysteries surrounding Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths? Was it merely an unfortunate coincidence, or are there secrets buried deep beneath the surface? If Hackman truly possessed the darkest truths of Hollywood, who would want them buried forever? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to keep uncovering Hollywood's most shocking mysteries. And remember, the truth always has a way of coming to light. The question is, do we have the courage to face it?